Molly Miller is the new women's basketball head coach, an A-plus hire, and a trend that shows ASU athletics are surging under Graham Rossini.
You are Locked On Sun Devils, your daily podcast on the Arizona State Sun Devils. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Sun Devils podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name is Richie Bradshaw, and I will be your guide for everything Arizona State Sun Devils. Shout out to my everydayers who are here every day, and thanks to all of you for making us your first listen of the day. Molly Miller is the newest head coach for ASU Sun Devils women's basketball, an A-plus hire. That should be able to turn the program around. And we got to give some props to Graham Rossini for the work that he is doing with all of the athletics right now, coming up later in the show. Molly Miller, the newest women's basketball head coach. Fun fact, I did not know this, and shame on me for not knowing this. ASU women's basketball is historically not bad. They are in the mid 500s for their all-time winning percentage, and I seriously did not know this, so shame on me. But from the 2010 period to the about the 2020 period, ASU had 7 consecutive seasons of 20 plus wins and 9 seasons in total with 20 plus wins. I think the reason why I didn't know this is, one, I haven't really paid too much attention to women's basketball, but they've also had 4 straight losing seasons. In the 2020 and 2021 season, they were 12-12, so a 500 season. Last year, the 2022-23 season, they were 8-20. They're coming off of a 10-22 season. They were 3-15 in Big 12 play. So just like men's basketball, women's basketball really struggled this year, and it just wasn't fun. They haven't had a winning record since 2019-2020. Like, it's been hard to invest in women's basketball recently for a lot of people. I know I'm not alone, but this could be a sign of things to change, because ASU women's basketball clearly has had at least a recent history of being really, really good. So we might be seeing things start to trend in the right direction for ASU women's basketball. Let's take a look at Molly Miller. If you don't know anything about Molly Miller, let me introduce you to her a little bit. She is 38 years old. She will be 39 I do not know where Drury University is, if I'm going to be completely honest. In her time, though, as a head coach, so she was the head coach of Drury, from 2014 to 2020. Then she went over to GCU. In her time with Drury, she was 180 wins and 17 losses. 0.914 winning percentage overall, 0.955 in the Great Lake Valley Conference. That's pretty good. By the way, in 6 seasons, she won the conference every single time. She, in the postseason, Division II, made the first round of their tournament her first year, and then she went to the Sweet 16 3 straight times. She went to the Final Four after that, and then they had no postseason in the 2019-20 season because of COVID. Okay, it's pretty good. Then she goes to Grand Canyon. She is in the Western Athletic Conference for 5 seasons. She goes 117 wins, 38 losses. 0.755 winning percentage. Overall, 0.786 winning percentage in the WAC. She goes in her 5 years: 3rd place, 2nd place, 4th place, 2nd place, 1st place. In her 2nd year, when she went 2nd place in the WAC, they went to the first round of the women's NIT tournament. This past season, they went 32-3, They were a perfect 16-0 in WAC play, obviously first place in the conference. They went to the first round of the tournament and unfortunately were defeated. That's still pretty good, man. That's nothing to bat an eye at. She has never had a losing season, by the way, ever. No losing season at Drury, and her first season at GCU, she went 18-7. The last 4 years have been 20-plus win seasons and then a 32-win season this year. She is one of the most exciting young names in college women's basketball right now. It is, I don't know if it's fair to call her a sensation because I couldn't tell you a lot about the majority of younger women's college basketball head coaches. And I'm also very aware that women's college basketball is dominated by a small handful of teams, like South Carolina has been dominant forever. UConn women's basketball has been dominant. I know Coach Mulkey with LSU has built a heck of a program there. I'm pretty sure Iowa was still good this year, even after losing Caitlin Clark. Like, women's college basketball is dominated by a small amount of programs, and ASU is not in that category. And I'm not saying ASU is going to be in that category. And if they are, then you're talking about a long time down the road, because those are teams that I would imagine if our friends at FanDuel had any odds for women's college basketball championships, I'm sure they do. If they don't, then I would imagine that those handful of teams I just mentioned would probably have minuscule odds compared to ASU, who, if you put $1 on ASU, you could win $14 billion. I don't know, but it's crazy, and it's going to be really hard for ASU to even sniff that kind of potential. But this is the move that gets you in that direction. This is the move that turns women's basketball back around to when they were winning 20 games on a regular, consistent basis, and where they have shown, at least in recent history, that they are at least a quality women's basketball program. They're certainly the better program for basketball between them and men's college basketball. Like, this is the move, man. This is the one that will get things back on track. And it's a trend that we're seeing right now with ASU athletics that are just starting to move on and get in the right direction. Graham Rossini, the new athletic director, we're going to give him a lot of flowers coming up in just a moment. But man, the work that he is doing right now for ASU athletics needs to be studied. It's exceptional what he's doing. And this Molly Miller hire, it's one of the biggest, like, exclamation points that you could put on this to describe how good he has been, how good he is doing right now in 1 year. This is one of the moves that just accentuates that point. Let's go ahead and give Graham Rossini his flowers by talking about all of his other successes in his first year as the athletic director coming up next. This is the Locked On Sun Devils podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Energy daylight savings snuck up on a lot of people once again, even in Arizona, because we got to adjust for everybody else. And 5-Hour Energy has your back. The extra sunshine means there's more time for fun, and sometimes you just need a little boost to power through your day. Whether you're staying up late for the NCAA tournament, which I am doing right now, you're trying to squeeze in a round of golf after work, or you're just trying to get through your busy day at work, 5-Hour Energy gives you the staying up late for all the tournament action. The 5-Hour Energy helps me get through the day, and that tropical burst being my go-to is what helps me get through it. And it doesn't matter if I'm watching a game or if I'm traveling, because it's fast, it's easy to go, it keeps me refreshed. I can get it online if I want to go to 5hourenergy.com and pick out over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, peach mango, and my tropical burst. You can build a 12-pack or 24-pack, have it delivered to your door. But you know what? If you need one right now, you can go to your local grocery or convenience store and get yourself a 5-Hour Energy shot, because they're everywhere. Stock up today, stay energized, and get yourself a 5-Hour Energy. Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. Imagine watching your favorite team live, feeling the energy of the crowd, and witnessing unforgettable moments. There's nothing like experiencing a good, big game in person. Getting tickets shouldn't be stressful, and that's where Game Time comes in, making it easier than ever to grab last-minute tickets at unbelievable prices. Game Time picks. This is what is the game changer that makes them different from everybody else. Their curation process makes it easier to find better value for tickets on not just sports, but concerts, comedy, theater events, and more. I can check the Game Time app whenever I'm looking for something like that. There's always amazing deals on huge matchups that are coming up. Their lowest price guarantee means that Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you find tickets in the same section and row for less on any other app. And you can have peace of mind too by checking out your seats in the app before you buy. There's no surprise fees, lowest price guarantee, book with total convenience, and know that you're going to get taken care of with the best customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. That's promo code LOCKEDONCollege, LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thanks so much for tuning in and making Locked On Sun Devils your first listen of the day. Shout out to my everydayers who are here every day. We have got to give Graham Rossini his flowers because what he is doing right now for ASU athletics needs to be celebrated, needs to be analyzed, needs to be looked at as one of the greatest things that has happened for Arizona State University entirely. Look, we can say what we want about Michael Crow, and we can rip him to shreds for the fact that ASU athletics has been left on the back burner, and it's been more of an event than it has been a priority at the university. But we do have to give Michael Crow credit and flowers for everything that he's done academically, because ASU across the board has terrific programs and schools to offer. They've always had the Walter Cronkite program, but they have a great nursing program. They have an elite business school. Their science departments for engineering and everything have taken off. They have got just about everything you need. Campuses across the valley, like, they dominate. There's so many things that ASU does, and a lot of it has come under Michael Crow. But we've been waiting for athletics to catch up. And Ray Anderson, the previous athletic director, one of the biggest villains in the history of Arizona State University, and certainly with their athletics, finally left. ASU goes on a little bit of a soul search to figure out who's going to be the next athletic director. And they didn't know what they were going to do. There's a lot of questions. And we went months trying to figure it out. A lot of fans were stressed out about it. I was stressed out. I did my best to put on a face and stay confident in everything, but I'll tell you, I was stressed. I'm sitting there, I'm like, why do we not have a guy? Why have we not figured this out? They announced Graham Rossini as the hire. A lot of people are upset. It's like, why did we wait so long for this? An in-house hire? People were upset it was an in-house hire. I liked it because it showed that ASU was placing an emphasis on having people that are invested in the university that want the best for the university. You can bring in outside people, and it's not a bad thing at all. In fact, it can be a really good thing if you nail the hire. Like, I know I don't remember their names, but I had highlighted Oregon State's athletic director. I had highlighted Troy's athletic director as individuals that could have been really good for Arizona State to turn all their athletics around, but they stick with Rossini. Have you seen everything that is going on right now under Graham Rossini? First year taking over the athletic director. Here's what we've seen. The football team, which by the way was in a crapper, was in the worst spot that they have ever been in the history of the program. When they were Arizona Normal, when they were Arizona Teaching College University, and finally Arizona State University. They were in the hole. And yet in their second year, they go on, win the Big 12 tournament, win Big 12 championship, go to the college football playoff for the first time ever. Not just that, they get a bye in the college football playoff. They go to the Peach Bowl, which that's one of the bowl games. I know it's part of the playoff, but rewind to before the playoffs started, the Peach Bowl was one of New Year's Six Bowl, one of the bowl games, Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, whatever. Peach Bowl was one of them. They hadn't been to the Peach Bowl since the 70s. This was a huge deal, and they have a heck of a game out of it. Not bad. Women's swim and dive this year won the NCAA championship. Wrestling sent three of their fighters to the NCAA championship. Beach volleyball went to their first ever NCAA tournament. Rugby was in the top 25 throughout the season. And the men's hockey team had one of their greatest seasons ever in a new conference when they moved over to the NCHC, which, by the way, is like the conference for college hockey, because you have Denver, and they played Denver very well this season, by the way. And you have Western Michigan, who is currently gunning for the #1 overall seed in the upcoming tournament for college hockey, which ASU is not out of the realm of going to yet. They still have a chance to be able to make it. It was phenomenal this year. And people were going to ASU hockey games because it was like one of the tickets of the town. Keep in mind, like, this is the year that you just lost the Arizona Coyotes. You lost your NHL professional hockey team. And a lot of people have been arguing that hockey belongs in the state of Arizona. Even though the Coyotes have been bad for quite a while, they've had good seasons. And, you know, it was very difficult. And a lot of people were very upset. The politics behind the reason that they left was, you know, what killed a lot of people. But you had a lot of fans that were dying and starving for hockey in the desert, and ASU hockey delivered it to them. Mullet Stadium was one of the rockingest stadiums in college hockey this year. And it's going to continue being that way because ASU hockey's trending up right now. I don't know if you've seen some of their recruiting. They're bringing 5-star kids in. They're on the upswing. It's not slowing down. Let's look at everything else that's going on. Bobby Hurley's coming back as men's college basketball head coach. A lot of people aren't thrilled about that. I don't blame them. But with that being said, they are returning a star-studded roster. As of now, knock on wood, because there's still time for these kids to answer the transfer portal. But Jaden Quaintance is back. Josan Sanin is back. Amir Ali is back. Sean Phillips is back. And the recruiting is still looking pretty good. You're in the hunt for Koa Pete still. They are doing great things. And Bobby Hurley's always been a great recruiter. But the decision to retain him means that you're bringing back a roster that was not the problem this year. There was a lot of injuries this year that mounted up. There was other problems too, but the talent on this roster was never a question. You're bringing it back. Everyone stays healthy and develops. ASU basketball is going to definitely, no pun intended, rebound next year. You just hired Molly Miller. We spent a lot of time talking about her at the top of the show, but that's what's going to be able to turn this thing around. Oh, by the way, with college basketball, I think people forgot that we went 9-2 in non-conference play. Your only two losses were to Gonzaga and Florida, two teams that were in the NCAA tournament this year, two teams that you played on the road or at a neutral site, two teams that historically have been pretty darn good. We got to give them some credit. And they also won the Acrisure Classic over St. Mary's by another NCAA tournament team. They were great in non-conference. They were phenomenal. We were talking about them as like, hey, they need to be ranked before they went into Big 12 play and absolutely wet the bed. But the basketball team is in a good spot right now. It's just a matter of getting healthy and Bobby finding a way to get things back on track. Will it happen? We'll see. But again, Molly Miller, A+ higher, A++ higher for women's basketball. That should be what turns them around. Hockey trending up. The football team trending up. The recruiting for football trending way up. Baseball and softball teams are rebounding. Softball is coming off of a 20-31 season. They're 23-10 to start the year. Baseball, they are off to a 15-8 start. They were 32-26 last year. I would have thought they were worse. I would have thought that they had a losing record last year because it was such an up and down 2024 season for them. But they look like one of the better teams in the Big 12 right now, which has some pretty good baseball teams. And And it looks like they're starting to fix some of the weaknesses that they had. It's still not a perfect team, but ASU baseball is trending up right now. And that's all that you can ask. There's so much that's looking good. Everything's trending sky high. You just went to the college football playoff for the first time ever. You have NCAA tournaments. Recruiting across the board is going up in all sorts of different places. 5 stars for basketball, 5 stars for hockey. ASU is getting 4 stars on a consistent basis. We got to talk about the recruiting, by the way, because April's going to be a huge month for recruiting. We'll keep you posted on all of that. They're making great hires across the board. They are increasing their scholarships. Oh, and by the way, NIL is surging right now. Still a long ways to go, but I mean, look at everything that's happening. People are buying in. Boosters are investing in this program. Fans are selling out stadiums. They're going to not Desert Financial Arena. What is it? Mountain America Stadium. They're going to Mullet Arena. Hopefully, these moves are going to get people at Desert Financial Arena. Like, they are investing in Sun Devil athletics. Fans, alumni, boosters, former players, like, they're in right now. Like James Harden, one of the best players in the history of the NBA, and certainly within the last 20 years, says that he is going to be one of the solutions for the NIL issues that ASU has had. And the Sun Angel Collective is already doing so much. And people are literally buying in and they're creating stuff. They've got craft beers and drinks that are available to the public now. I got to get myself some and let you know how they are. If you have had them, please let me know because I am absolutely dying to try them. They are surging right now. I know I've said that. That's the word of the day, apparently, but they are, man. And you have got to be excited if you're a sports fan of any sport for ASU right now. From football to rugby to beach volleyball to women's basketball to softball, baseball, and beyond. Everything is trending up for ASU athletics right now. And Graham Rossini is at the forefront of it. In 1 year as the athletic director, the sleeping giant woke up for football and the sleeping giant for just about every athletic sport that you have to offer is trending up right now. They are catching up to what Michael Crow has been able to do as the president of the university when it comes to the academics. And Michael Crow has even acknowledged himself, by the way, that the priority for not academics, the priority for the athletics is going to start receiving more of an emphasis from him because of the success that he is seeing. The president that is not well received by fans, alumni alike, and even the host of Locked On Sun Devils here, Richie Bradshaw, is not the biggest fan of Michael Crow, but he is recognizing what's going on right now. And he's saying, yeah, we're going to keep this up. And it's Graham Rossini, man. One of the best things that's ever happened to Arizona State University entirely. It needs to be celebrated. And if you're not giving Graham Rossini his flowers at this point in time, first of all, I don't know what you're doing, but it's time to do it because things are great right now. What do you guys think of the Molly Miller hire? Which sport do you think is trending in the best direction right now for ASU University, Arizona State University? Let me know in the comments. You can hit me up on Twitter at RichieBrads36. The podcast is there at LO_Sun Devils. Wherever you're getting your shows, hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Locked On Sun Devils to make us your first listen of the day. Good news for you guys. We're back in full force. ASU football is starting spring ball this week. I've got a really cool update for you guys. I will be able to attend Tuesday and Thursday practices. I will not be able to attend Saturday practices due to my day job. Tuesday and Thursday on YouTube, we will go live in the evenings, probably about 5, maybe 6 o'clock in the evening. And I will give you the update from everything that I saw personally at practices. So I know that some of the bigger places have their practice updates that are behind a paywall. Guess what? You don't have to have a paywall here for Locked On Sun Devils. So I'll keep you posted on all of that. We got content that's coming out tomorrow that's going to talk about players that need to be at their best because their jobs might be on the line with spring ball coming up. So make sure your notifications are on YouTube and wherever you're getting your show so you get the update when we have content and when we go live. I will see you guys tomorrow, and until then, you keep it locked right here on Locked